Howdy everybody, this is Pit Viper with Nifty Bytes, here to demo ACES, the Automatic Cowboy Easy Scoring System, on the iPad. Now here I'm running an iPad simulator on my Mac. ACES will work the same on an iPad, an iPhone, an iPod Touch, and basically the same way on an Android as well, although it looks slightly different due to Android interface changes. But the basic process and menus and pages are all the same between the two platforms. Before we get started, a couple things about these devices. iPods, iPads, and iPhones do not like to be above 110 degrees of internal temperature. It's really easy to keep them cool enough. Just keep them roughly in the shade when you're using them. It can be 110, 115 degrees at my home range in St. George, Utah, and we still use them just fine. We just keep them shut and in the shade when we're not using them. And we generally have our scorekeepers operate from a shady position as well, both for their comfort and for their device's comfort. Now, if you're using these iPhones and you find yourself with this view, not looking at ACES anymore, this is called the home screen. You have a couple of options to get back to ACES. You could find ACES in the icons and click on it and be back right where you started. Or you can double click on this home button at the bottom and tap ACES and you'll be right back where you started. For battery longevity, I recommend in between shooters just put it to sleep. On these iPads, iPhones, and iPod Touch, up here in the right corner there's a sleep button. You touch it once, put it to sleep, touch it again to wake it up. That'll let your battery go all day, and you won't have to worry about charging them at lunchtime or anything like that. Alright, so when you first run it, you see this view, and the first thing we have to do is make a match. So I'm going to go click Change Match. I'm going to add a match. I'm going to give it a name, Video Test Match. And I'm going to choose Cowboy Action. You can either choose Cowboy Action or Wild Bunch. For Cowboy Action, we do Time Plus and Rank Points all at the same time. You just pick whichever results you want to use. And Wild Bunch, we use all three. You can do Rank, Time, or the Wild Bunch point system, where you do the stage points with the factoring. We figure all that out so you don't have to. So we're going to do a Cowboy Action match in this video. For misses or stage DQs or did not fire or did not finish, you have a choice between all misses for 30 seconds, or you can preset a time or a rank point that you can assign when people get a stage DQ or do not shoot. This set password, not really necessary unless you're going to post scores to acesscoring.com, and we won't cover that today. Just if you do set one, just remember it, although you can change it. Alright, so we're going to go back up here using this on the iPod. All the menu movement happens up here in the top. So we're going to go back to matches. I see my match. Notice here that I've got a match that we kind of came by default, and I can change between them. The check mark indicates what match is currently active, and also you'll see that Video Test Match is active here whenever I change the match. If I have extra matches I want to get rid of, you don't need to really. The device will hold hundreds of thousands of matches. But if you want to clean up just for ease of finding matches and so forth, if you click the edit button, you get a minus sign, hit the minus, and then click delete, and your match will be gone. Alright, so now we have our video test match. We're going to go in, and our next step will be to decide the categories that we're going to have in our match. Now when we go into edit shooters and posses, you'll see that we can add a shooter or set match categories. We're going to go into set match categories, and we get a list of most of the conceivable categories that are in a Cowboy Action match. If we have one that we want to add, like let's say Almost Senior, just click Edit, then go down and hit Add Category, and we'll add Almost Senior. Hit Done, and Almost Senior is there, and it's checked. Now if we don't want all these categories available, just tap them, and if they're white with no check, then they're there, but they're not going to be available in the match. So for instance, here I see that Lady Modern, which is a Wild Bunch category, is available in this match. I don't need it in this. Modern, I don't need. Traditional, I don't need. And Ladies Traditional, I don't need. Those are all Wild Bunch categories. All right, so now I can add a shooter. We'll add myself, Pit Viper. That's all you need. You can optionally give their name, their SAS number, and then pick a category. I usually shoot Wrangler. So go down here and make me a Wrangler, and then hit back, and that's all you need to do. Now, if we go back in here and add, again, anything that's ever been in this device, whether I entered it myself or whether I synced and brought a match in, those shooters will be available on a type ahead. Okay, so if I wanted to enter myself again under a different category, maybe I'm shooting 2 different ways, I could select there and I'm good to go. I won't though. Alright, so we've got shooters. Let me add a Molasses Kid. Oops. Who's going to be a junior boy. And we'll add Wolf Windwalker. And I need to give Wolf a category. He usually shoots Senior Duelist. Right, so now I got 3 shooters. I can sort them by alphabetic or by posse. That's a good way for making sure you got your posses right. Now I haven't posseed anybody yet. They automatically went to posse 1. If I want to change their posse, I just click here and pick their posse. Like, I generally will put them in a posse. If they're going to do shoot-throughs or the staff match or something where they're not posseed, then I'll put none. If you need to go through and find folks, let's say you have 400 shooters here at a big annual match, then you come up here and type PIT and it limits to them, and then you just click over here to edit. Now let me add a shooter not going to be here. Let's say that I know he's not going to be here. He calls and says he's not going to come, or he decides not to shoot for some reason. Then we got to get rid of him. So we just hit the edit button, and again, it's just like over on adding categories or getting rid of matches. Just hit the minus and hit delete. All right, so we've got our stage, our match built. We've got some shooters. Now we're going to build stages. It's pretty simple. Just go into build stages, add a stage. Let's say we're doing a 2-stage match. Call it stage 1, the bank. Now by default it's got 14 shots, but I think this one we're actually going to have 24. So we got 10 rifle, 10 pistol, and 4 shotgun. We use that target count, by the way, in the stage DQ or did not fire. There's not going to be any bonus targets on this one, so I'm done. Stage 2, Western Union. We're going to make this 26. 10 pistol, 10 rifle, 6 shotgun, and there's going to be 2 bonus targets on the rifle. And I'm going to make those 3 seconds each. So when those targets, bonus targets are per target. So if you have 10 bonus targets out there, you're going to add 10 bonus targets and assign a value to each. This will be time that's subtracted from the shooter's raw time. Alright, so now I've got a match, I've got shooters, I've got stages. Now we're ready to shoot. So we go into enter scores. You have a couple options here. We've got posses, so if you have a posse show up to shoot, it's posse 1. Go ahead and find them in there. Or if you have a shooter that's shooting through, they can always find everybody in the match right here in the all shooters posse. So somebody comes up and says, I'm in posse 3 normally, I'm catching up, I need to shoot through here. Go ahead and find them in all shooters, score them, and send them on their way. Now the way you score is you go in, find their alias, when their time's called, let's say it's 22.36, great. If you make a mistake, click up there again, 22.35. If you happen to click up there accidentally, you can just touch anywhere else and go away without changing it. If they have a miss, go ahead and give them misses. Procedurals, it knows it only has one, so that's either on or off. Minor safety, so you can have more than one, so you just hit the increment button. And the spirit of the game, I've never seen it called, at least not in the little while that I've been shooting cowboy, but I understand it is occasionally called, and that's a big penalty, so it is confirmed. Down here you got your disqualify and DNFs. So if they didn't show, then you give them a DNF, hit yes or no. 2 of those, by the way, will be a match DQ, but don't worry, you can undo it. Disqualify, give them a stage DQ. If you want to undo it, just click there and remove the stage DQ, and all their data is back. So go ahead and stage DQ them. If they ask for a separate ruling and it changes, it's not a problem to change it back. All right, so we've scored Pit Viper, Wolf Windwalker. Now we're going to go over to stage 2 and show you how the bonuses work. So we'll score Wolf Windwalker. Give him 56.36, 1 miss procedural, and then he got the bonus on target 1. So it's a binary type of thing, either on or off on that. Now when we come back out here, you see these menus here. Let's say you have a shooter come up and he's adding to your posse. He's already registered. Just click there to move him. And if somebody shows up that's never registered, you can add them as a walk-on, and it's not a problem. The cool thing about walk-ons is that as long as you use the same alias every time, you could actually add that shooter on 10 different stages, and his scores will all be merged right in when we sync up the match. Alright, so that is the overview of how to use ACES. We have some more detail to go in terms of how to integrate and synchronize all the devices to have all the scores and so forth. I will cover that in another video. But this is all you need to get going. So thank you much, and remember, if you have any questions, just go to acesscoring.com or send an email to support@acesscoring.com. Thank you much.